It's an absolutely beautiful morning in the city. This is going to be a great ride. But I really want to talk to you about something super important. In fact, one thing that we haven't really spoken about over the last couple of videos is a little thing called designing your work. Like I said, I really want to talk to you about designing your work, and more specifically, designing your work for ease of use. So what does it mean to design your work? Well, think about it from this perspective. Have you ever had to call a company or deal with another department in your company and you can just tell that they don't really know what they're doing? They have to redo things over and over again. They have to hand off to another department or another person. There's a lot of waiting in between steps, and the person that you're dealing with, or even a team, or another department, and the person that you're dealing with is just dragging their feet, and everything is too hard for them. And all of this grates on the experience. So pretty soon you're not wanting to do business with these people or this company just because of all of this extra friction. And it's quite obvious that they don't like their job. I'm going to say something a little bit controversial, and that is, it's not their fault. It's actually because their process and their work has not been intentionally designed for ease of use. Because when you design your process and your work and your job for ease of use, you're making things easy naturally. So then it wouldn't matter. These things would be easy for that person to do, whether they were having a good day or a bad day. And we all have bad days, but there's absolutely no excuse for having a bad process. So why is it important to design your work, and specifically design it for ease of use? Well, a recent study found that more than 50% of people in their jobs actually don't know what's expected of them at work. And because of that, they're not doing the best job that they can do. And of course, out of those people who don't really know what's expected of them at work, there's a higher proportion of people who are disengaged in their work. Just like that person we were talking about before, who's dragging their feet and everything's too hard. These are people, everyday people, trying to do a good job, but they may not necessarily be able to because it hasn't been made clear what is expected. The outcomes and the steps have not been made clear. Disengaged workers, the impact that it has on your business, their sales rates are lower, their productivity is lower. Happiness has a big impact on your bottom line. Now look at it from the other perspective as well. Recent research by Stanford University actually found 35% was the difference in results of people who had clear outcomes and people who had not clear outcomes at all. Teams and companies that didn't have clear outcomes actually performed 35% worse than people and teams and companies that did have clearly articulated outcomes and clearly designed steps to get there. Now there's another study as well that was done on happiness and flow, and it's by a great man called Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and he, in the 1960s, he took 1,000 people and interviewed them when they found the most happiness and meaning in their lives. And there were a handful of things, but 3 of the most prominent were they had control over the outcome when they were doing the task, they had a clear objective when they were doing the task, just like the Stanford University study and just like the Gallup study as well, and the task gave immediate feedback. Now all of these things are actually part of the ease of use framework, which I'm going to share with you over the next couple of videos. So everything is starting to tie together. All of the research is pointing in a very, very, very similar direction. And that direction is making sure that we're clearly articulating things, intentionally designing the work and designing it specifically for ease of use. Now I'm going to go into the 5 steps of the ease of use framework in other videos, but really quickly, they are making your process repeatable, so it's the same great repeatable process every time, reducing those steps to a customer getting what they want, making it visual so they can see exactly what to do first time without having to ask, making it impossible to make a mistake, and checking in so that we know whether they got what they want or not. So where do we go from here? A very simple thing that you can do straight up is to just simply write out the steps that you take to perform a few of the tasks in your work, and then try and reduce those steps. So by reducing the steps, you're actually reducing the complexity, making things easier just straight off the bat. Just doing those 2 things alone will have a massive impact on your business. And the rest of it comes down to the ease of use framework, which I absolutely cannot wait to share with you over the next coming videos. I hope to see you then. Chat soon. Chat soon.